Hi everybody, my name is Peter and welcome to Our Worship Sound. Today I want to show you something that you can use to add some flavor and movement to really basic, really simple chord progressions. And we're gonna take just a C to an F chord. Okay, so something that's really simple, very basic, very common. And so we're going to show you something that you can do to add interest to it. Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I added two chords in between, and those chords are called passing chords because we use them just to pass from one place to the next. So we're in the key of C major, all naturals in the scale, and we're going to base our movement on the bass notes. Okay, so we're going from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, the C to the F, and we're just going to play the notes of the scale in between the C and the F. So C, D, E, F in the bass. And what we need to do is we're gonna play 2 slash chords in here. I have another video that you can watch for more about slash chords. But basically this bass note is gonna end up being the 3rd of the chord that we play in the right hand. So in every chord we have a root, a 3rd, and a 5th. This bass note is going to end up being the 3rd of a major chord that we're gonna play in the right hand. So for this, our first passing chord is based off a D in the bass. That D is gonna be the 3rd of a B flat major chord. Okay, so we're going to play a B flat major chord over our D in the bass. The next note that we're basing it off is our E. Okay, E is going to be the major 3rd of a C major chord. So root 3rd and 5th, the E is the 3rd there. So we're going to play a C chord in the right hand over an E in the bass. So our passing chords are, we're going to start on a C, and then we're going to have a B flat over a D, C over E, and F. Okay, so to play that one more time. Alright, now the reason why this has interest is because of this B flat. B flat is not in the C major scale, so it's outside of the key, and when you hear that B flat, you know that we're moving somewhere. The reason why that B flat is important, and the reason why it gives you a clue as to where we're going, is because that B flat gives that dominant sound to a C major chord. So right when you hear that B flat, you know that we're going toward the F. Okay, so that's why it works and that's how you apply it. Let's try it in a different key. We're going to go to E major. E major has 4 sharps in it. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. So we have in our scale. Our bass note, as we go from the 1 chord E major to the 4 chord A major, our bass movement is going to be E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Okay, so to figure out the chords in the middle, the passing chords, we need to know that F sharp is going to be the 3rd of what major chord? What's going to be a 3rd of a D major chord? G sharp is going to be the 3rd of what major chord? It's going to be the 3rd of the E major chord. So in this key, we're going to do E, D over F sharp, E over G sharp, and then we arrive at our A, our 4 chord. So again, we're trying to go from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, just adding the 2 bass notes in between, figuring out what chords we can use there. Okay, now one thing I shared in the slash chord videos is that oftentimes when I'm playing a slash chord, I will leave the note that I'm playing in the bass, I will leave it out of the right hand and just play 2 notes in the right hand. So we still end up with a 3-note chord, but it just ends up being a more open and a cleaner voicing. So if I was going to apply that here, I would leave the F sharp out of the right hand, and I would leave the G sharp out of the left hand on this chord. So we end up with so you still have all the notes of the chord present, it just sounds more open. Okay, so this works from the 1 to the 4 chord. It also works going from the 5 chord to the 1 chord. So in the key of E major, the 5 is a B chord. So we're going to go from the B up to the 1 chord, E major. So we use the same process to figure it out. Our bass movement is going to be according to the scale. You can probably figure that out by ear, just by a little bit of trial and error. So if we start on a B chord, we're going to go to a chord whose third is C sharp. That's going to be an A chord. And then a chord whose third is D sharp. That's going to be B major. And then we arrive at our one chord. So again, that's B, A over C sharp, B over D sharp, and E. To leave out that extra bass note this time, B. And you hear we have some nice movement in the top end of the right hand if you listen. Okay, so you can use it going from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, also from the 5 chord to the 1 chord. Now there are a couple things you need to be careful of as you're using this technique. One, this is definitely something that you're going to want to coordinate with the rest of your band members, because if you're adding extra chords and bass movements to what you're playing and the rest of the band is just playing the simple chord progression according to the chart, it's going to create some clashes, especially in that bass movement. So you want to coordinate and make sure they're either doing the same thing as you or you're just sticking to what they're doing. The other thing is, this isn't always going to sound good depending on what the melody is at a given time. Especially if you're using that, or you're playing that note outside of the key, you can end up with some pretty bad sounding stuff. If you do something like, so those chords aren't going to sound good with that particular melody. So just try it. If it doesn't sound good, then just stick to what's there and do something else. So I hope that's an easy technique for you to apply. I hope that was helpful. Join me over at ourworshipsound.com. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've put out a video. It's summertime. There have been some different projects going on with our house, and just spent a lot of time with the pool with our kids and that kind of thing. So all good stuff, but I've also been doing some songwriting and some teaching and some reading, and hopefully that's all kind of coming together into something that'll be really cool, and it'll come out sometime here in the near future. So in the meantime, God bless, thanks for watching, and have a great day.